Tonight we have come together as one, a strong alliance of professionals to celebrate another year of your work, your ever-developing skills, the ways you've found to push the limits, to innovate, to invent solutions, to advance technology. Each of you, as an NTMA member, has proven yourself a credit to our great industry. Tonight in this room is a wide variety of personalities and strengths, resulting in a fantastic array of accomplishments, all rooted in your particular opportunities and challenges. We at the NTMA are so proud to have a role in our common purpose. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, NTMA members and guests. Welcome to the National Terrazzo and Mosaic Association's 2022 Honor Awards ceremony. We applaud all of this year's entries. We thank you from the bottom of our hearts for joining us in the NTMA Honor Award program. This year's incredible lineup illustrates again how our industry is expanding the boundaries of what terrazzo can do. Each year, you demonstrate to the design and construction industries new ways to use terrazzo, more stunning and creative examples of terrazzo performance. This year's program again brings together stellar installations that demonstrate relentless attention to detail and thoughtful resourcefulness. The projects are both unusual and imaginative, as well as classically timeless. Each powerfully transforms the space it's in. You've shown us examples of technical virtuosity as well as handcrafted artistry. Your entries tell the stories of contractors bringing their expertise, care, and imagination to collaborate with designers and owners to resolve obstacles and realize an artistic vision. This year, we will present 12 honor awards, 1 restoration and 1 art award, and the 2022 Job of the Year. And now the NTMA is proud to present the 2022 Honor Award winners. This newly renovated hotel interior achieves its extraordinary design intent in construction industrial. A total of 4,200 square feet of epoxy terrazzo in bold colors and dramatic lines plays a principal role in the creative aesthetics of the lobby, bar, and restaurant areas. No divider strips were used between the colors. The resulting lines are impressively carried out and extremely clean. Divider strips are included only for delineating main areas and for expansion requirements. The vivid orange and yellow tones are blended with transparent glass chips. The aggregate mix achieves its pleasing texture by integrating 5% of number 4 chips and 25 to 30% of number 3. The 2-story installation includes precast stairs. Working in a functioning hotel and coordinating with other trades, the crew worked under numerous restrictions both day and night. Completed in just 15 days, the floor was finished to a high gloss with 3,000 grit finish. Final polishing and finish were applied at night after the opening of the hotel. For their exemplary work in the EB Styles Airbus Hotel in Bucharest, Romania, the NTMA congratulates Aragon of Bucharest. With a striking design and impressive scope, this amazing terrazzo project was part of a major redevelopment of an art museum. It comprises over 48,000 square feet of sand-cushioned Venetian terrazzo in size 4 to 7 chips. The architect's objective in this building was to respond to terrazzo installed in the museum by the contractor's grandfather some 65 years before. The original green terrazzo was replicated in a transitional lobby space. In the rest of the building, a complementary blue-gray color was specified to wind through the building's maze of stairways and glass. Wet grinding the large marble aggregate was a challenge. Every drop of grinding slurry had to be removed from the building each day. The Terrazzo craftsman achieved unbelievable flatness and uniformity, along with consistent color throughout. The project includes a precast cementitious terrazzo stairway with a raised seating platform and poured-in-place landings. The main floor revolves around a poured-in-place suspended staircase with a plinth. In a connecting tunnel, 4,000 square feet of white terrazzo was installed, the only section with smaller aggregate. The coved base on this project is precast. This phenomenal project was completed in 6 months. For a first-class project at the Museum of Fine Arts Houston, we honor Southern Tile and Terrazzo of Houston. Each element of the interior of this mixed-use lobby space contributes to a cohesive design. The distinctive Palladiana terrazzo installation complements the glass storefronts and brick walls, evoking the space framing effect of a series of area rugs without the maintenance of carpet. Creatively elevating the space, marble inserts are placed in an 800 square foot grid, soldier style, and mounted in a monochromatic charcoal pigmented terrazzo backdrop. The terrazzo craftsmen devised their own jig to cut marble tiles to size, from which the designer hand-selected the 12,889 marble inserts for the floor. Each 3 by 5 inch insert was individually set by hand without mesh. Maintaining precise 3/4 inch and 1 1/8 inch spacing of the marble inserts was a time-consuming challenge. The Palladiana section was installed in 4 weeks. NTMA judges appreciated the continuation of both the Palladiana pattern under the steps and the divider strip pattern throughout the rest of the floor. The job was a total of 6,600 square feet. It was fine ground with 200 grit diamonds and concluded with 2 coats of sealer to achieve the specified matte finish. For this impressive, gorgeous work at 800 Fulton Market in Chicago, a very well done goes to Menconi Terrazzo of Bensonville, Illinois. The engaging design for this epoxy terrazzo floor in a new casino tells the tale of the landscape, art, and culture of the Yavapai people. Among the assets of the 3,900 square foot project are its 9 striking colors, the significance of the Native American motifs, and the energetic flash and flow of the interior. A composition of concentric rings representing Montezuma's Wall, an ancient natural spring central to the Yavapai creation story, is the installation's focal point. The terrazzo craftsmen worked extensively with the design team to make subtle changes to the layout that allowed it to be realized in terrazzo. Once the colors were installed and grouted, the contractor had to wait for a specialty lighting system to be installed above the floor. Then they had to finish the floor while keeping dust off the lights. The aggregate mix included glass and mirror. Both water jet cut and hand-formed strips were used. The work was completed in 25 days on this pleasing project at Wecopa Casino Resort in Fort McDowell, Arizona. We present this honor award to Advanced Terrazzo Company of Phoenix. This outstanding terrazzo installation on a university campus was part of the interior remodel of an 1889 building. Craftsmanship and attention to detail are evident throughout. 3 subtle shades of epoxy terrazzo distinguish functional zones for navigation. The central corridor is highlighted with a classic white designed to reflect light, while mirror and glass chips add depth. The terrazzo design is appropriately restrained. A harmoniously constructed interior juxtaposes bright contemporary finishes with original exposed stone and natural woodwork. A significant portion of the terrazzo in the main corridors was installed over the original heavy timber and wood-framed floors. Structural engineers were consulted, and the undulating floor was reinforced with layered plywood and crack isolation membrane. Care was taken to factor in deflection limits and floor leveling to achieve a uniform appearance. The open elliptical staircase was poured in place and is beautifully executed. Climbing through 4 unevenly spaced levels and accented by 39 3-inch inserts, it was completed in under 3 weeks. The 7,500 square foot project took place in sub-zero weather in multiple phases. Let's give a big round of applause for this exceptional project at the University of Minnesota's Pillsbury Hall, installed by Advanced Terrazzo and Tile Company of Coon Rapids, Minnesota. Spanning 8 city blocks on Manhattan's Lower East Side, Essex Crossing is a significant redevelopment project in New York City. The terrazzo contractor was involved with this elegant new construction project from the design stages through the finished installation. A total of 5,500 square feet of epoxy terrazzo was installed in residential and commercial lobby spaces. To maintain a critical flatness tolerance among varying finished elevations, the contractor used up to 5 inches of epoxy sand underlayment to prepare the substrate. In the commercial lobby, a beautifully textured Palladiana pattern enhances the space. Water jet cut marble in 2 alternating rectangular shapes was attached to a mesh for layout. 1-inch spacing was infilled with micro aggregate epoxy. A painstaking process of delicate grinding followed to accommodate the micro aggregate and pre-polished marble. The floor was grouted twice between each stage of final polish. The simpler residential lobby is distinguished by dark graphite epoxy with marble and glass aggregate. Well-scaled and creative, this gorgeous installation at the Artisan at Essex Crossing earns our compliments. We congratulate Imperial Flooring Systems of Freehold, New Jersey. This innovative use of terrazzo begins with 4 classic colors. 3 distinct areas of this new hotel were completed, each with its own character. The richly textured marble aggregate mix in the reception area included 25 to 30% of number 3 chips and 5% of number 4. The architect decided the spacing for the brass ring pattern in the lobby the day before the work began. The most difficult part of the job was drawing the 500 square foot grid for placement of the 8,000 rings. Each 2-inch diameter ring was cut from a tube and set by hand in the floor. While the background epoxy was poured, the tubes were filled with a hard sponge material. The sponges were then removed, and each ring was filled with epoxy terrazzo. The ring pattern required high-level mechanical skills and unflagging attention to detail. The pattern continues into the elevator cabs with pre-cast terrazzo. The 2,800 square foot project included restrooms in a simple pattern. This well-executed creative installation was completed in 20 days. For their accomplishment in the Ibis Styles Hotel in the center of Bucharest, Romania, this honor award goes to Aragon. Inspired by the beach, this inviting 7,100 square foot epoxy installation in a nicely flowing pattern is reflected in the ceiling. 6 bold colors evoke different shades of the ocean and the sandy beach. The aggregate mix is brightened with clear and mirror glass, mother of pearl, and white marble, and is used over several colors for unity in tones and texture. The contractor employed a template system to transfer the aluminum strip pattern to the substrate. Skillful mitering of the aluminum strips and excellent chip distribution were noted, as was the saturated and consistent dark blue. The entire perimeter of the installation abuts existing porcelain tile and required hand grinding at the edges. The floor looks consistently flat and smooth. The scope of work included over 2 inches of fill material to raise the elevation for a consistent transition with the existing floor. Logistics were challenging, as this project was completed behind temporary partitions in an occupied area on the top floor of an airport. All work was done at night. We commend the contractor on this laudable project at the flagship store of Shops at Bayshore at the Tampa International Airport, the Stewart Mellon Company of Tampa. This warm, inviting office space earned praise for the striking chain-link design that distinguishes the entry. The creative use of colors and lighting also contributes to the cohesive and captivating interior design. Large format porcelain tile was originally specified, but the upgrade to seamless epoxy terrazzo was offered at nearly the same cost, providing durability and ease of maintenance. The contractor developed color solutions to match the previously specified design. Replacing slate tile flooring as part of an interior remodel, the installation was on a tight schedule. The contractor had to pour 5,000 square feet of the 6,600 square foot installation in one weekend and completed the entire project in 30 days. 3 epoxy colors were blended with glass, mirror, mother of pearl, and marble aggregate. The 16-gauge aluminum strips were formed by hand on site. With crisp lines, clean mitering, and consistent aggregate distribution, including the simple white installation in the common space, the work was well executed. A final polish with 200 grit made for a sleek matte finish. For this exceptional installation at 5995 Windward Parkway in Alpharetta, Georgia, we offer our hearty congratulations to Williams Tile and Marble of Smyrna, Georgia. This welcoming new STEM addition to an existing high school is composed of clean lines and a crisply patterned epoxy terrazzo floor. The terrazzo design in 4 muted tones showcases the Wildcat mascot in school colors. Because the entire school was under construction by all trades, the contractor had to put in long hours in restricted spaces. Sand and epoxy were used to flatten the concrete for the installation. The most demanding elements of this eye-catching installation were the poured-in-place handicapped accessible ramp, the short walls, and 20-foot-long tread and risers. The long platforms framing the ramp incorporate 2 colors encircling the columns. The entire area was troweled, ground, grouted, and polished by hand. The ramp is well executed with a consistent slope. Along with poured-in-place steps, precast tread and risers were installed on the main staircase to the second floor. A precast landing, plinth, and bench were installed at the foot of the stairs. The aluminum strips were water jet cut. The nearly 9,000 square foot floor with a glass and marble aggregate mix was installed in 9 weeks. For a job well done demonstrating flawless craftsmanship throughout at Eureka High School in Eureka, Missouri, we congratulate Missouri Terrazzo Company of St. Louis. This new hotel was conceived as an extension of the National World War II Museum in New Orleans. The design intent and purpose of this striking and timeless epoxy terrazzo floor is clearly achieved, as it defines areas of the hotel and gives a sense of place. The floor responds aptly to the architecture. The interior's sophisticated ambiance was achieved through the extensive use of Art Deco-inspired design details and patterning in brass, alternating with appropriate simplicity. An artful combination of details sets forth a strong statement that conveys the glamour of the era. During the final stages of the terrazzo installation, a roof drain was blocked, causing the newly completed floor to be flooded and the brass divider strip work to tarnish and turn blue. Entire areas had to be cleaned, repolished, and resealed. The 6,000 square foot job in 7 colors was completed in 45 days, including night and weekend work. For their outstanding work on this project at the Higgins Hotel and Conference Center, a well done goes to Terrazzo Masters of Metairie, Louisiana. This new K-12 school, the only public school in a rural district, accommodates approximately 750 students. Following the theme of the school team name, the Pilots, the 18,400 square feet of epoxy terrazzo in the first floor common areas and corridors also incorporate the school colors and logo. The large common space separates the lower and upper grade levels and will be used as an auditorium. A variety of fun, lively designs in 7 colors proudly and clearly communicate the school's identity. Bringing interest to the larger spaces, the floor's design also reflects mindfulness of the size and scale of elements in the halls, while providing wayfinding cues. The terrazzo designs were all laid out and formed by hand on the job site. Judges noted a consistent dark blue on this project, which incorporated an aggregate mix of 100% glass and mirror chips. The job was completed in 21 weeks while working in cooperation with other trades. This successfully designed and executed project at Ayersville School in Defiance, Ohio, will serve the community well for many years. Let's give a big round of applause to the contractor on this job, Anisi Masonry of Tiffin, Ohio. NTMA judges loved the elegant simplicity of this terrazzo installation in an office building. Epoxy terrazzo with brass detailing throughout the common areas is the modern interior's focal point. With 2 neutral colors and a single marble aggregate mix, the thoughtful design is well suited to the architecture. Exceptional workmanship and attention to detail is evident throughout the 5,300 square foot project, which showcases 1,700 linear feet of brass divider strips. Well-presented details include tight mitering, which is elegantly and artistically crafted. Great-looking larger chips distinguish the aggregate mix, with 5% number 4 and 25% number 3 chips. The contractor developed an innovative technique to precast the restroom countertops. 21 separate pieces of precast terrazzo appear to have been sculpted like stone out of a single terrazzo block. The contractor also produced the 1,200 square feet of precast straight-capped base. Working in a busy downtown location, materials were delivered a maximum of 1.5 tons at a time. The floor had to be protected between each step of the installation to allow access to other trades. The work was performed in 30 days, including weekends. For this stunning, top-notch job in the Milo office building in downtown Bucharest, Romania, the NTMA offers its compliments to Aragon. In this handsome church, epoxy terrazzo was patterned to replicate and replace beautifully designed custom carpet runners in the aisles. The church had been spending $100,000 every 15 years to replace the carpet. The terrazzo contractor worked directly with the church representatives to plan the installation. Starting from an old CAD file of the carpet, they replicated the patterns in terrazzo and matched the colors precisely. The strip pattern was water jet cut and welded to 18 4-foot by 5-foot wire mesh sheets. Strips were formed on site in other areas. The field color replaced tile. Much work had to be done to flatten the substrate where carpet and tile had been, and where terrazzo met old polished concrete at the pews. Caution was also called for where the installation adjoined old stone walls and the stone altar. Yet another challenge was to keep the finished church free of dust, especially the high ceilings. Work was carried out 7 days a week for 5 weeks. The result is warm and inviting. Manifesting care and skills, the 9,000 square foot installation is uniformly flat, with consistent, rich colors. For this terrific renovation at Our Lady of Loretto Catholic Church in Foxfield, Colorado, NTMA offers its compliments to Colorado Design, Inc., Tile and Terrazzo of Denver. This Special Art Award recognizes 2 outstanding airport installations of public art in terrazzo. Local artists were commissioned to design the platforms for new elevated train stations, creating an enhanced travel experience. Neither of the artists on the project had ever worked with terrazzo or designed a project on such a scale. The terrazzo craftsmen worked creatively with both artists throughout the process. The rental car train, designed by Bill Dambrova, was inspired by the airport's function as a means for earthbound creatures to take to the sky, referencing the interconnection of life, from single-celled life forms and ancient sea life to the stars. The project conveys a watercolor-style color blending. The 24th Street Station, designed by Frank Gonzalez, pays homage to indigenous peoples and the healing properties of the desert's natural elements. The contractor produced a series of water jet cut dots in different colors for the artist, which gave the illusion of the desired blend of colors in the flowers. The 2 stations resulted in 13,500 square feet of terrazzo in 31 colors, and preserved the integrity of each artistic vision. Both water jet cut and hand-formed strips were used, and the work was completed in 40 days. For breathtakingly beautiful terrazzo artistry in the Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport SkyTrain stations, we commend Advanced Terrazzo Company. Finally, the moment we have all been waiting for, the National Terrazzo and Mosaic Association's 2022 Job of the Year. The 2022 Job of the Year is found in the Museum of Fine Arts, Houston, where a redevelopment project began in 2012 and concluded with the opening of the Nancy and Rich Kinder Building. With a striking design and impressive scope, this amazing terrazzo project comprises over 48,000 square feet of sand-cushioned Venetian terrazzo, utilizing size 4 to 7 chips. This project received the highest craftsmanship score. The new Kinder Building is devoted to the museum's international collections of modern and contemporary art. The architect's objective in this building was to respond to green terrazzo installed in the museum by the contractor's grandfather some 65 years before. It is in excellent condition and looks brand new. This historic installation was replicated in a transitional lobby space. In the rest of the gallery, a complementary blue-gray color was specified to wind through the gallery's maze of stairways and glass. The museum directors appreciated the Venetian aggregate as it does not compete with the art being displayed. It is a beautiful backdrop to the architectural structure. Wet grinding the large marble aggregate was a challenge, and every drop of grinding slurry had to be removed from the building each day. Grinding was performed up against clear glass and under the walls at the recessed stainless steel base. A level, flat floor was critical for art display and for the numerous air vents located on the floor flush with the terrazzo. The terrazzo craftsman achieved unbelievable flatness and uniformity, along with consistent color throughout. All the zinc divider strips were formed by hand on site. From the lower level, a precast cementitious terrazzo stairway begins with a raised seating platform. Leading to the intermediate level and the main floor are 61 steps with a rear cove, requiring precise installation. 3 landings were poured in place. The coved base on this project is also precast, installed with a zinc toe strip and polished top with a 1/8 inch bevel. The main floor revolves around a poured-in-place suspended staircase with 41 steps of varying lengths and widths, also set on a plinth. In a tunnel connecting the Kinder Building to another part of the complex, an additional 4,000 square feet of white sand cushion terrazzo utilizing size 1 and 2 chips was installed. It is the only section with smaller aggregate. This phenomenal project was completed in 6 months. We applaud the tremendous amount of work it represents and the admirable level of skill and care it demonstrates. The terrazzo industry's highest honor, the 2022 Job of the Year, goes to Southern Tile and Terrazzo of Houston for a first-class achievement in the Museum of Fine Arts, Houston. This concludes the National Terrazzo and Mosaic Association's 2022 Honor Awards. Next year will be the celebration of our 100th year anniversary as an association. We predict many outstanding terrazzo jobs will be presented in 2023.